Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads Indie Comics. This is episode 9. This time I read Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. These are two four-issue limited series, and that was all that they made. These came out in 1990, this first four-issue series. I spotted these at a flea market, and it was both, like, these were all in one bag and boarded set for like $2, and then the second series was as well in its own bag and board for like $2. So I was like, okay, I can spend $4 and get two cool looking limited series, complete series. So I picked them up, and I didn't know anything about Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. I had no idea who he was. But it's based on the classic television series. So in the early 1950s, there was a sci-fi television show called Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. And here's an image of the three main characters from the show. Came out in like 1951-ish, something like that. But these comics are all really cool because they have some back matter, character design here, and the writer talks about, the history of the show and how the comic came about from it. And so these comics are really cool, especially if you're an old nerd and you like the classic sci-fi from the 50s, and you like the show, especially if you like this show. There's some letter columns in some of these issues where writers write in like they actually remember watching the show. Like in 1990, they must have been pretty old nerds themselves at the time, and they remember watching the show 40 years before the comic came out. And some of them liked it, some of them didn't, but that's to be expected. But they're in black and white, and they've got this cool kind of manga style. The creators, Bill Spangler is the writer, Fred Perry is the pencils. And so it's an American artist doing a Japanese anime or a manga style. And I didn't think it would work really, but it does. It's not a like super distractive manga style. It's pretty smooth and fluid. The line works really nice and precise. So things look good, I think. Like here's a giant space bug. And that's pretty well drawn, I think. The characters are a little silly looking, but not terribly so. And the mecha, of course, spaceship, is drawn well. But each one of these series is like it's like maybe an episode or two of the TV show. I don't know. I never saw the TV show. I don't know if the episodes like would have a part 1, a part 2, or if each episode was self-contained story. I don't know, but this to me seems like it could be an episode of the TV show. In the first series, we get introduced to the three main people of the Polaris. That's the ship, and these guys are all cadets at the Space Academy, so they're still kind of like in training. But Tom Corbett is like the captain of the Polaris, and his other two co-pilots are like the regular cast members. But they run into this alien entity in the first 4-issue series, and Tom Corbett's father disappeared years prior on a space exploration mission, and he's found alive. And he's been living with this race of aliens that they are headed back into our universe, and it's really I was pretty happy with the stories. I'm keeping these because they're good quality comics. Like Eternity, I think is it a Fantagraphic imprint, or is it something else that's like that? Malibu. Is it Strum? It's a division of Malibu Graphics. So Malibu Graphics did Eternity Comics. And they had a couple other imprints as well. And you can you can see them in the back of in the pages of these comics, because they tell you like which company publishes which title, which subdivision of the company publishes which title in a lot of these advertisements. So Eternity in the late 80s, early 90s was doing like Robotech. I think they did the Captain Harlock. That was an old Japanese anime television series from the 1970s, late 1970s, that I watched recently and really enjoyed. And I think Eternity did that as well. And I think that's why they did Tom Corbett as kind of like a manga almost, because they were kind of using that formula for their comics. And it works. I enjoyed it. Like I said, this first series is about Tom Corbett's father coming back in an alien presence, an advanced alien race, and that was really good. And then this series, the second series, which came out shortly after the first series, this one is about the planet Mars and some ancient alien technology that's hidden there, and it is able to open portals between dimensions. So you have all these alternate realities that can come through the portals opened by this machinery. So you get a little bit of what was happening on Mars in different timelines, different dimensions. So you get some War of the Worlds type creatures in here. It's pretty cool. I was impressed. I would like to find some more stuff by Bill Spangler, the writer. He wrote the Robotech series that I just showed on the back of one of these other comics. He's the writer for Robotech and a few other things that they talk about in here. I'd like to find them and read them, because I think he did a good job. Here's another series they did called Metal Bikini. Also their manga inspired style. But Eternity, I think I have some Robotech comics from them, which I've never read. And I think I have some, like I said, the Captain Harlock. I think I have that whole entire series of Captain Harlock by them, which I have not read yet either. I've watched the series. I watched the whole series on Tubi and really liked it. So I do have some other Eternity comics, some manga, but haven't read much of it. And these were all quite good. If you're an old nerd, you like the classic sci-fi stuff, old TV sci-fi stuff, check out Tom Corbett. These, like I said, I found both of these series for like $2, so you're not gonna break the bank trying to buy these. And I'm sure you can find them on eBay if you really wanted. One other thing, I think at the same time that these two new stories were being published, there was like an old comic, or maybe it was a comic strip. I'm not sure, but it's advertised in these comics. And Eternity published some like classic strips or comics of Tom Corbett. And I don't remember ever seeing that title out and about, but I'm going to keep my eyes open for it. I'd like to read. I'd like to get my hands on those as well. They might be cool. But these two I highly recommend if you're a Star Trek fan of the classic TV series, or even older stuff, the classic sci-fi of the 1950s. I would recommend this. So give it a check if you're feeling frisky. And if you like these kind of videos, I'm always doing comic book related videos, and I'm doing a series on this channel where I'm reading my Marvel Comics collection in publishing date order and doing a video for each issue that I read. If that sounds cool, please subscribe. Otherwise, comment down below with anything you know about Tom Corbett. I'd like to learn. And if you would like even more, share my video. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.